This is Reality Dispatch, written by Jim Minns.
I landed in Dakachu with a pencil, a legal pad, my camera, a pack of cigarettes, and a word, Doocimba, which I was told meant church, monastery, or spiritual place in Seemble. I was careful not to utter this word to any member of the public. I was under strict instructions from my contact that only those in the Supreme know would quantify such a request to see the place of the spirit. 100,000 tourists go missing each year in Seemble. The government, run by General Greco, never acknowledged this figure, and so it remained unofficial on the United Nations Humanitarian Charter of Unreported Abuses. Nevertheless, the tourist trade grew, and most would pinpoint it to the pilgrimage associated with the spiritual place. It was no secret that I was coming to town. The army had a chauffeur awaiting my arrival once I exited customs. He held a placard with my name on it and smiled brightly behind a suspicious pair of Ray-Bans as I approached. "Let me take your bags, sir. I would like to inform you that I am not authorized to answer any of your questions. Follow me, please," he said, hoping that would serve as the beginning, middle, and end of our correspondence. We sped down the King Hilliman Freeway at 130, maybe 140 kilometers an hour. It was every man, woman, child, chimp, and donkey for themselves. We weaved up the right-hand lane to avoid the oversized vehicles that stockpiled the 6-lane stretch, allowed to drive only when the heavy vehicle curfew had been lifted. In the process, we nearly decapitated a woman escorting 6 cows and a mule in the wrong direction. Jesus Christ! I remember uttering as my driver threw the car into reverse and swung us back onto a free lane at high speed, cool as a cucumber. I took his response to our near-death experience as an invitation to converse against his better judgment. "Doocimba," I said, and nothing more. He glanced over at me, removed his Ray-Bans, and pierced me with an evil squint. "What?" I said. "You told me yourself. You wouldn't take my questions," I reminded him. "You know nothing of what you speak," he replied. "Well, enlighten me." "I'm not authorized," he said. "You don't have permission to be here in the first place." "So where are you taking me then?" I asked. "I'm not authorized to answer questions." His smile was well and truly gone. Now he was annoyed. Look, someone knows I'm here. Someone obviously knows I'm a journalist. I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm not here to expose any big secret or tear down the government. I just want to know about Doocimba. What is it? What does it mean? Why are 100,000 people a year going missing? I let my questions hang in the air, hoping my good faith tone would allow him to drop his guard and converse with me as a colleague. Doocimba is something you will never understand unless you experience it. It is not something that can be taken lightly. You have to be shown Doocimba. It cannot be explained, he said, placing his glasses over his eyes. I got the impression he was fully aware of the air of mystery he gave off. "Okay, so enlighten me. I want to experience it," I said. "Take me to experience Doocimba." The car skidded to a sudden stop as my driver pulled the handbrake. His right hand moved to a compartment tucked into the door. I glanced behind us, expecting a semi-trailer to wipe us off the face of the earth at any moment. The roar of diesel engines swooshed past our windows, spraying us with the excess moisture of the muggy, rain-soaked road. The latch clicked and he pulled out a Beretta 9mm, pressing the barrel to my temple. "What do you feel right now?" he asked. "Stop," I yelled. "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to provoke you. I'm sorry. I swear." "Do you swear?" he asked. "I swear? Who do you swear to?" he asked. "What do you mean?" I stammered, needing clarity. "Who are you swearing to? Tell me before it's too late." "I swear to the general. I promise to him and his wife and his children who run this grand and beautiful country. I swear to you all that I didn't mean to cause offense. I love the people of Seemble," I pleaded. A horn blared from behind, rearing up for impact. My eyes squeezed shut. "How disappointing," he whispered. A click. I clenched my eyes tighter, if that was even possible. When I opened them, I felt an unexpected euphoria. 18 hours earlier, I had been in transit from Boston to Heathrow en route to this strange country. Now I was at the mercy of a stranger who had just given me a glimpse of death and set me free from the burden of facing my own murder. You have just experienced touch of Doocimba, he said, reholstering the weapon in the doorframe, but you still know nothing. He reignited the engine, kicked the car back into gear, and continued down the freeway. I was exhilarated to be alive and frightened enough by my brush with death that I had no desire to continue the conversation. We arrived at an abandoned stadium on the outskirts of a village bordering a small fishing port. The eye of our capital, Greiso Stadium. Many celebration has been held in this building. Many have experienced Sashinka in this building. You would know this better by the English word, extreme happiness. He explained, the doors unlocked. I only now realized that he had been holding me captive. The general knows of your arrival in Simbel and your desire to cover the disappearances of the tourists. He does not mind that you write about this in your magazine, but you need to be aware people are not going missing. They are here to experience Doocimba, and you may experience Doocimba too in there. He pointed towards the stadium. All the general asks is that you do not write a single word before you have put your hand up to experience Doocimba for yourself. Only then will you understand that it cannot be described. It can only be felt. He reignited the engine, removed his left eye from its socket, polished it with his shirt, then slotted it back in under the eyelid. Go, he finished. I snapped open the door handle and raced toward the stadium. No one stood near the grounds, but there was activity inside. The lights were illuminated, spilling their beams onto the footpaths surrounding the stadium. As I climbed the grand staircase, faded imagery of soccer stars from a bygone era, encapsulated forever in the late 1980s, watched me ascend 2 steps at a time. I checked my camera to ensure the film was properly inserted. Before I knew it, I was inside the arena, walking amongst 1,000 spectators, all chanting in unison in an unknown language without the accompaniment of music. Doocimba, I said aloud, to my detriment. Instantly, 2 attendees locked eyes with me, breaking their trance. They grabbed me by the arms and escorted me down to the arena's grounds where an altar stood. A man stood at one end, an Uzi submachine gun in hand, chanting along with the crowd. His eyes locked on mine, and he watched as I was led up the uncut grass toward the opposing side stage to face him in some sort of ritual. They led me to the edge of the altar and held up a curtain that lined the sides. There was a series of submachine guns all lined up, one after another. The escort on my right reached in, picked up a weapon and held it up to me, unlocking the latch to show me the magazine, full to the brim with enough rounds to cause a small massacre. He loaded it into the holster and placed the weapon in my hand. He didn't stop chanting the entire time. The left escort held up a hand to show me where the trigger was located and motioned his finger in a switch formation to indicate how the weapon would fire. Afterward, they continued chanting and proceeded back toward the other chanting attendees. Please join me, brother, said the lone figure on the left flank of the altar. Rise. I searched the building in a circular motion, looking for an exit. It was too far to run, and doing so would invite gunfire from the man on the altar. I decided to acquiesce. I placed my chest over the altar and raised my legs up by hoisting myself with my hands. As I stood, I put the weapon down and drew my pentax from my back, thankful that they had not removed it from my possession when they forcefully brought me over. It's not wise to put down arms in this place, said the figure as I snapped a photo of him, his silhouette cast against the assembled crowd behind him. What can you tell me about the thousands who go missing here every year? I asked, straight to the point. You don't beat around the bush. No, I don't. They're not missing. They're here for Doocimba, didn't you know? What is Doocimba? Why do they stay? I asked. Once anyone experiences Doocimba, they never want to leave. That's the point, he explained. I pointed my camera at him once more and began to capture his pose for eternity. Did you have a weapon drawn on you tonight? He asked. I dropped the camera and looked at him, wary that he might point the Uzi at me at any moment. I couldn't speak out of fear, so I simply nodded. Would you like to draw a weapon on me? He asked. I shook my head, then he raised the barrel and pointed it squarely at my chest. What if I demanded, raise your weapon? Do it now. I dropped down and did as he demanded. You don't beat around the bush, and neither will I, brother. Doocimba is a contact with the other side, the other world beyond this one. Point your weapon at me. What does that have to do with anything? Why can't I just have a near-death experience without pointing my weapon? There is near death, and there is Doocimba, and the two bear no similarity. For when you are in control of another man's life, and he in control of yours, and you are both on the verge of ending one another, only then will you truly see Doocimba and know the truth beyond what you see on the earth before you. I could see him tighten his grip on the weapon. One, he began. I held the weapon up to face his eyes, unsure whether my aim would be accurate or if I even had the power to stay on target. Two, he said, as a pulse like a lightning bolt raced through my neck, making me gulp loudly. Three. The word echoed faintly as I was sent to a world beyond what can be seen, smelled, touched, or heard. The world of Doocimba, where my story ends in words, yet my experience lies beyond meaning and understanding, one that cannot be explained, it can only be felt. I filed my report from the stairs of the altar, where I quickly rose to experience another round. I don't know when I will return.
For more stories of fact-based fiction, head to jimmins.substack.com.